It's the 24th of December 1957 in Scotland. You're snuggled up in bed, excited for the morning, when you can get up, run downstairs, and go to work like any other day of the year. It's quite surprising, but did you know that Christmas was not celebrated in Scotland for over 400 years? In fact, it wasn't just not celebrated, it was actually banned. Just 54 years ago, it was just like any other day. Now, as I discussed in my Christmas traditions video, wintertime celebrations were popular way before the Christians made Christmas a thing. It was traditionally called Hogmanay, and this was still the case in Scotland. Celtic pagans would have celebrated winter solstice around the 21st or the 22nd of December, with still very similar traditions as today. The Yule log, kissing under the mistletoe, singing and decorating trees. With the swooping of Catholicism into Scotland around the 5th and 6th centuries, everything just kind of became tied into one. Of course, the symbolism may have been different, but they were still celebrated in very similar ways. This time was known as Yule, from the Norse word Yule, which meant winter solstice celebration. And it wasn't just one day, but it was the whole season at the end of the year. You know those 6 to 7 days when you don't really know what day it is at all? Well, that was Yule. Now, it becomes complicated in 1560, when Scotland declares itself split from the Catholic Church. It was really important to cut ties with what came before, and anything associated with Catholicism. So even though these winter solstice celebrations were there way before Catholicism, they got labelled as a Catholic celebration. John Knox, who was the leader of the Presbyterian Church, or the new religion in Scotland, banned Christmas in 1580. People were still celebrating anyway and continued their Yuletime festivities, despite the threat of fines or even prison sentences. On the 27th of December 1583, 5 people in Glasgow were brought before the kirk session and sternly ordered to make public repentance for keeping Yule. In 1583, the Scottish Church forbade bakers from preparing mincemeat pies, and anyone found baking them would be punished. It's actually said that mince pies were forced to become smaller and easier to transport in an attempt to hide them. In 1605, 5 people from Aberdeen were prosecuted for going into town with bells and dancing. During the Reformation, a turbulent time in England, the Church of England was abolished and its monarch Charles I was executed. The government was taken over and a Presbyterian church came into power, and just as they were in Scotland, were very against celebrating Christmas. And in 1647 it was officially banned in the kingdoms of England, Scotland and Ireland. They abolished Yule vacation and pretty much any observance of Christmas time. So not much really changed in Scotland, except it was more widely enforced. Across the rest of the UK, everyone still widely, if a little bit more quietly, celebrated Christmas in protest against this. Now, the restoration of Charles II to the throne, which is a whole other video that I can't get into today, finally lifted the Christmas ban in 1660. But in Scotland, under the Church of Scotland, Christmas continued to be illegal to celebrate. But that's not to say that all Scots were against the rules. Many continued anti-Catholic sentiments, so it was still a while until the question of a legal Christmas came about. Through the following centuries, Christmas was celebrated behind closed doors. Victorian England found a resurgence in Christmas celebrations and the creation of a lot of our traditions, but these new trends completely skipped Scotland. And up until the mid-20th century, Christmas pretty much was just another day in Scotland. With the waning influence of the church and the growing influence of the rest of the world, Christmas finally snuck its way across the border. In 1958, the ban was finally lifted, and on Boxing Day, which is something that we celebrate in the Commonwealth countries, was only recognised as a public holiday in 1974. Thanks for watching me on a quick fun fact about Christmas in Scotland. And if you haven't done so, check out my other video on the Christmas traditions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.